Episode 49 in 3, 2, 1.
Hello and what?
Whoa, what the? Okay, you froze for me, so it looked like you were like...
Oh,
I was like,
did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to do the hello and welcome thing, huh? Alright. I'm on to your games. I got you.
This is going to be funny, okay? Just go with it.
3, 2, 1...
Hello and welcome to
everybody.
episode 50 of the Geek Games podcast. Everyone, this is it. It's our 50th episode. We are so excited. What?
Sam?
What?
There's still one more week.
What?
This is only episode 49.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
I thought this was episode 50.
Yeah, I should have figured because you were like, oh, Anthem comes out next week. And I'm like, no, it doesn't.
No. Oh, I got my weeks messed up again.
Sam, we really got to talk about this. I think you might want to go see a doctor.
I'm sure it'll be better once Anthem comes out, and then I'll stop having my time glitch. So.
Yeah, maybe a Shaper Storm.
Maybe a Shaper Storm.
Overhead and...
It plays with time. We haven't learned that yet, but I think we're going to learn that. It plays with time, and that's why I'm a little off. So I apologize. Right. So what? Tell me again, what are we on now?
So hello and welcome everybody to episode 49 of the Geek Games podcast, the only podcast with hosts who look as good as they sound.
Hey,
I am your host, Cody Teacherk, alongside my best friend, Sam Suvak.
Hey. Cody is looking extra special today. He got a new phone with a new camera. Look at that. Look at all those pixels. Yeah. He looks fantastic. All that DPI, man. He looks great.
Yeah. So some housekeeping. So, as we announced last week, we're going to be doing an AMA for episode 50. What that stands for is Ask Me Anything. So I guess it would be a Ask Us Anything. So it's an AUA.
That sounds like something you need to see a doctor about. I don't know.
Yes, it does. Good point. All right. So, yeah, you have until Valentine's Day, actually, to send us in questions, either in our Discord channel, on Twitter, or through email at contact@geekcardgames.com. We got some really good questions so far.
Some real good questions.
Yeah. So. I am both excited and scared, which is often how I feel when I go into sex. So, it's going to be good.
What did you say when you go into what?
And I don't know what you're talking about.
Did you say when you go into sex?
No. Sam, this is a PG podcast. Can you not?
Cody was just telling me that his filter is missing these days and stuff just comes out. So if that's what you said, I don't know.
Sam, I have no recollection of this conversation. Are you feeling all right?
Are you in the time warp now? I don't understand.
The episode 50 thing? Like, I'm getting really worried about you.
I guess.
So anyways.
Okay.
I'm sure this is a great first podcast for people. They're probably like, what is going on? We're a video game podcast. That means we play video games. Because they're cool.
They are cool.
So Sam, you played Firewatch.
Yeah.
I'm shocked because that game is really old. It's not really old, but like it's been a while.
It's been a while. I've had it for a while. I just never got around to playing it. And I've always heard such wonderful things about it. Like I've heard it's such a great game, right? And so I was like, yeah, let's go into this. I had some misconceptions about what this game was about. So I knew that you were playing as a guy who's in the Firewatch tower, like, watching for fires or whatever. And his only contact was with some woman on the radio, right? And I thought the woman on the radio was his wife or his partner or something, and like the way I understood it, like they had been together and so in love, and then they had difficulties, and then like this was a journey and they're like working stuff out as the story progresses. Guess what, you guys? No, not at all. That is not at all what this game is about. So I'm going to spoil the first 10 minutes of the game because honestly, I wish it had been spoiled for me. Because it took me by surprise and was very upsetting. So it starts out and like it kind of alternates between like you going to the Firewatch tower with just these text. It's telling the story of how you met your wife Julia and like the story of your relationship in your life. And you're like, oh, this is cool. This is really neat how it's telling the story this way. And it's a neat little story. You guys adopt a dog, you move in together, you have some fights, but you're like, oh yeah, we don't want kids yet. It's fine. And then what happens is, turns out Julia has early onset dementia. She's 40. Yeah. And so just things just fall apart. And as you might know, I think I've mentioned it before, my grandmother had dementia, and it's very upsetting. And so just like I'm 5 minutes into this game and I'm just like bawling because I'm like, oh my God, this, I can't,
Sam.
it's bad enough like when an elderly person has it. I'm like, I can't imagine your 40-year-old wife, having dementia and having to deal with that. So that was very upsetting. Also, double spoiler alert, okay, just to warn you, the dog dies. Because it talks about like this long span of your life together. So like as soon as like they got that dog, I was like, eventually that dog's gonna die. So that was upsetting. But yeah, so basically what happens is, she ends up going into a home, and he has gone to the Firewatch just to kind of get away and try to, deal with everything that's going on in his life. So it's fucking deep, and I was just like, oh my God.
That's what she said.
That was a good one, and that was just what we needed to lighten the mood, so thank you, sir. So yeah, you go to the Firewatch, and actually, the woman that you're talking to on the walkie-talkie is a woman named Delilah, and she is just like the supervisor of the Firewatch Tower people. So she's got like a bunch of different people. I think you're at Yellowstone. They talk about Yellowstone, so you're in Wyoming. But yeah, there's a bunch of different Firewatch people, but she is where you check in with everything, and like she's your only contact with the outside world, and you just have to go around and do like fix trail stuff. If there are people causing trouble, you got to go talk to them. You got to keep an eye out for the fires. Yet another spoiler alert, so you're the fire watch, and that's very literal because you watch for the fire, and then there's a fire, and you're like, well, it's not your job to put it out. Like, the park rangers aren't necessarily going to put it out. You just have to watch it. So, like, you're watching this fire for multiple days, and it's very weird. But, that's something that happens out in the national parks. They've got these fires that rage for a long time, and they'll do, like, little controlled burns to try to keep it from spreading to different places and just try to keep it contained. But, like, yeah, literally, like, your job is sometimes to just watch the fire and make sure it's not doing unexpected things. So it's very interesting. But once you get past that beginning part, it's okay. Like, it's not super bad. Like, sometimes stuff comes up and you and Delilah are getting to know each other, and, like, we'll talk about stuff a little bit here and there, and you learn some more stuff about what happened with Julia. But just, like, you never see Delilah. She's always just, like, a voice on the radio, and, like, you're in first person, so, like, you really never see yourself. You're the guy Henry. And it's just it really is magnificent storytelling about the way these two interact and how their friendship develops. And there are things like you can make decisions on like how you want to respond to different things. And so like there are options for you to flirt with Delilah. I didn't do that. I was just like, I can't.
Seems a little messed up.
Yeah. Not ready to handle that. Delilah can sometimes be a little flirty. But I was just like, no, I don't. But the really cool thing is like, there's a mystery that happens and you have to like go investigate stuff, and like it gets kind of, ooh, what's going on here? And the way that unfolds is really cool and keeps you intrigued the whole time. I will say I like Henry and Delilah as characters, both of them, but like I really like Delilah. She's like, she can be a little bit of an asshole sometimes and can be snarky and fun, but something about her, I really enjoy her personality. So I really liked that. You know me and navigation in games. So you're the park guy, and so you've got a map and you've got a compass, and you have to like kind of go find stuff sometimes to do your job. And like she'll tell you like, oh, it's this direction, go through here, or like sometimes a certain area will be marked on your map. And theoretically, it shouldn't be that hard, Cody. No, no,
That's what she said.
it wasn't a good one. I'm sorry. So yeah, but and most of the time it was okay. But like the very beginning of the game, like my second mission, I just did not understand where I was supposed to go, and I ended up almost walking like all the way through the whole available world. I found lots of stuff that like I wasn't supposed to find until later in the story, and it's just like that's fine, they have lines for that. But yeah, I walked everywhere before I figured out where I was supposed to go, and I was kind of getting mad about it. And then there was this one part where there was this ledge, and I was like, I'm sure I'm supposed to go down here and like continue on in this direction, but like I couldn't get the prompt to jump down. And I was getting really mad, and that's when I was like walking around, going back, trying to find if I'd missed something. And then it turns out that like at this ledge, like I just needed to like turn around, and there was a thing to hook my rope onto to rappel down. But like I just walked in front of it and just never saw it. So I wasted about like 20 or 30 minutes of the game just walking around when I wasn't supposed to. But after a while, I kind of got used to where everything was. Although, like, when I was walking, I'd still have to get that map out pretty frequently to double check. But overall, I'd say it is a really great game. People say good things about it, and it is well deserved because it tells a wonderful story. And I mean, it is basically a walking simulator. You go and you'll do stuff a little bit here and there, but if it's going to be a walking simulator, like it has to have the good story, and it has to have the characters that you care about, or otherwise it's just a boring waste of time. So this definitely has that. It had a good resolution at the end. There was one jump scare that involved some wildlife, and I very much enjoyed that. But yeah, it's a great game. It is an older game, so it's probably going to be on sale at some point. So if you've considered it, go ahead and check it out. And now you know that it involves dementia, and it won't take you by surprise. So hopefully that'll be fine. But yeah, it was really good. So I played it this weekend, and then afterwards I was like, man, I want to go get out in some nature. So I decided to go to.
It's a bad idea. Wouldn't do it.
Really? No, I think it's fine. I went out to the nature center that's like out by our zoo, and I had a really good time, Cody. I was just walking around, and then all of a sudden I looked up down the trail, and there were some deer, and I was like, oh my god, there's some deer. And so I was like, I'm just gonna stand here and watch the deer. And then they kind of hung out for a bit, and then they started to like move along. And then, like, I saw them, and they were, like, moving along. And then, like, there were more of them. And they kept going. And then there were more of them. And there were, like, 10 deer. It was, like, a whole herd of them. And it was just so cool to, like, get to experience that. Oh, and then also at the nature center, it has this area. So it has, like, some really big ponds. But some of it's kind of, like, a little bit of a swampy area, you might say. And it's got these, like, wood walkway bridges. And every time I go there, especially when like all the trees are dead and stuff, it really reminds me of like a Resident Evil area. And I'm just walking around, I'm like, there should be like some boxes of ammo over here. I should be keeping an eye out for herbs and first aid spray. Like I know it, I can just feel it. So it really gets me in the mood for that. But Cody,
That is how Sam got kicked out of the nature preserve area. She started pulling up weeds and was like, "These are the herbs I need for my first aid spray."
I thought you were gonna say I'd get kicked out from like chasing people with like a combat knife or something. Like the zombies must die. That'd be bad. But Cody, do you want to guess how many times I got lost in real life in the nature center?
Ooh, solid. I'm gonna say at least 3 times.
0 times,
Oh,
Cody.
okay. Wow.
I did not get
okay.
lost at all. I don't know. I have like a decent sense of direction, maybe in real life, because like I always knew like where the parking lot was, and, like which trails I'd been on, and how to get back. So it was like perfectly no problem at all. I think they have maps in the guest whatever house, but like I didn't even get one. I was like, no, it'll be fine, and it was fine. But let me tell you, Cody, I did take like 4 wrong turns trying to drive to the nature center. So
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe it's just like when you're on foot, you're good, but when you get into a car,
I'm real bad in cars.
Nose goes.
I always make the wrong decision. So, but it was a good time. So
I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah.
The maker of Firewatch has a new game coming out soon, right?
Yes, I believe it's in the Valley of the Gods.
Yes, yeah. That looks really good. So,
yeah, it's like set in ancient Egypt, and I don't know what they're doing, but I think it'll be fun. So
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right, so that was Firewatch. Yeah, it does go on sale a lot. It's always on sale, I feel.
Yeah.
All right. Sam, we didn't practice for this next bit, but can you possibly do the theme song for Game of Thrones for me?
Do 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 do. Oh my god, do you want to wait for just 1 second? Can you wait for just 1 second?
I'm excited. Let's do this. Let's fucking do it. Guys, we don't know what's happening. We don't plan. This is Geek Card Games. We do what we fucking want around here, and I am excited. Oops. I don't know if she's coming back yet. So how are you guys? You guys doing good? How's the weather? It's freezing in Louisiana. Oh, Sam's back. She's back with a... Oh, that is... Oh, that's... No, keep going. We're good. Keep going.
I gotta get the rhythm just right.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
Sometimes it like spikes really loud, but okay. So you guys get the gist though. We're gonna get... Welcome to the Elder Scrolls Essentials. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did not practice that. That was good. I feel like we did a good job with that for not practicing. All right.
That was good. Spoiler alert. Elder Scrolls era did not cut it. So
It got...
Nope.
Well, fun fact, Elder Scrolls Era is apparently a website, and it's about scrolls from a long time ago that people have dug up, and so we got a cease and desist, and they wanted some real money, like, it was ridiculous, so we had to go with Elder Scrolls Essentials, so fuck you, Elder Scrolls Era.
Fun fact, I was just laying in bed trying to go to sleep one night, and it just came to me. Like a eureka moment. I was like, yes, this is what it should be. And I texted Cody. I was like, yes, what do you think? Yes. It was good. So that's how we got there. So
sadly, I think this is one of the last times for a while, at least, that this segment happened. So it's good that we really went all out for its go home episode. So to catch everyone up, playing a Khajiit Nightblade, having fun. Level 38, so only 12 more levels before I hit level 50. But the issue is I've now done all the story. I've done Somerset, I went back into the main quest line, and I did Morrowind this past week.
How was she?
Long, not very fun, and a little like drawn out for no reason.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, not a good one. I don't know, like, I don't know if I was just feeling a little burnt out maybe because I was like just doing all this story in a row. If I had like taken some time, did some other things, and then gone to it, maybe I would have enjoyed it more. But pretty much the story of Morrowind is it's the home of the Dark Elves, I believe, and you go there and weird stuff's going on. The kind of like God King ruler, Lord Vivek, is not feeling so hot. He thinks people are poisoning him. There's some Daedric stuff going on. There's some Dark Elves who are like outcasts from the like main hub of the Dark Elves. And one of them is trying to like start a revolt. He thinks he is like this god among men, and he has some staff that like gives him power.
Like a stick staff, or like staff like people that work for him?
Like a stick staff.
Just
I like that. That was a good joke. That was a good one. I'll give you that.
Wasn't even a joke.
So yeah, like I feel like I've heard people be like, yeah, the story for Morrowind's really good, and I was just kind of like,
This might not be the opportune time to tell you this, but this new camera and the angle that it's at, when you sit back and contemplate, I can totally see up your nose.
Okay, well, thank you for telling me. So anyways, I've heard people be like, yeah, Morrowind is really good. And I don't know, like the story makes sense. Like, it's not like it's like how in the main story where like, we're going, woohoo, roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
Like, everything you do makes sense as leading to something. There's some twists and turns. Like, there's a character you work with for like a good, I'd say the main story took me about 7 hours altogether. So I did it in like 3 days because I played a little bit. There's a character you are working with for like at least 6 of those 7 hours, and suddenly things take a turn, and you're like, "Whoa! I did not expect that to happen." And maybe the other reason I didn't like it is because there was no Molag Bal.
It's not as funny. I'm okay. I'm okay today.
There was Clavicus Vile.
That's fine. That one's fine.
I was wondering if that one would get a laugh out of you. I guess like the really cool thing about it is it introduced me to characters that I didn't know who they were when I was playing Somerset. So like this is where Clavicus Vile shows up for the first time apparently.
Is this the guy that you were talking about last week that was like really like he had a secret and you were going to find out more about him?
No, that was Lord Codwell, which I miss him.
Okay.
Which he would come back. He should be in every expansion. So yeah, like I don't know, like I just wasn't feeling it, and at the end, I didn't even feel like I got good rewards. Like I felt like the rewards were really bad. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then like there's a major plot hole because like the sister of the guy who's leading the revolt. I'm really drunk. Ignore me. The sister of the guy leading the revolt helps you because she is like the champion of this other Daedric god. I want to say, wow, I'm blanking on the name. She's
Paducah
a really good
Head.
god. What did you say?
Paducah Head.
Yeah, I'll call her Paducah Head.
Okay.
It'll come to me, I swear. So she's like the champion of Paducah Head, and she did all this stuff to help us throughout the entire thing. And so at the end, you're like rewarding everyone who helped Lord Vivek. He completely skips over her, and I was like, and I'm like, okay, maybe some like.
Do you think he's rewarding her in other ways? Wink, wink. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. I mean, he's like a god king.
Hey. You know.
But yeah, I don't know. Just I'm a little bummed that I didn't like it so much. And so now, like, I don't know. Now I don't have like any major story stuff to do. I'm like kind of taking things slow, and then like Anthem comes out in like 2 weeks, so like I'm gonna slow down until Elsewhere really comes out. So yeah, I was kind of a little bummed about that. But then I started doing some dungeons, and like A+ to their dungeon design team because like there's so many fun encounters.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were doing a dungeon where we got called. The like kind of story around the dungeon is you and your compadres got called to the dungeon because this guy wants to know what's going on with his family. They haven't been in contact for like 20 years. And I'm like, maybe in the first like 2 you should have contacted someone 20 years?
Well,
like,
wait, are these elves?
I think these were humans. They were all like human wizards.
Well, I got nothing.
He was like, oh, it's been 20 years. Like, I haven't heard from them. Can you go check on them? And so you go there and you find out that like something happened and everything is frozen solid and ice and like everyone's dead. And he shows up as like a vision. And he's like, what's going on? Like, where's my family? And it's like, your dad is over there dead. Like, what do you want from me? And so
You're so compassionate.
I mean, I'm role playing. That's what my KG Nightblade doesn't give a shit about anybody. Just kidding. I mean, he saved the world like 3 times.
Yeah.
And so you go through the dungeon. There's like a little bit of mini bosses here and there, and you go on this ledge, and like I guess they kind of like force you to go to this ledge, and then out of nowhere, an ice golem shows up, and it was fucking cool. Like I was like, oh my god, this is
cool.
awesome.
Like literally, it was cool.
Yes. Okay. I was hoping that joke would go over well. And so, like by the end of the dungeon, you find out that these wizards welcomed a witch into their home, and she turned on them. Like they were like, "Oh, were they hospital her?" And she was like, "Oh no, turn to ice, everybody!" And she killed everybody.
Sounds like my kind of witch.
And so we had to vanquish her. But I don't know, like I really do love the dungeon design in the game, like
Yeah.
Because so many, like, in World of Warcraft, dungeons definitely just became, like, what weird mechanic can we throw in here? Like, it wasn't about, like, the scenery and anything. It was just, like, what's a weird mechanic we can have in a dungeon? And I feel like Elder Scrolls Online takes advantage of, like, yeah, you can have a unique mechanic, but also you can have the game look really cool. Like, when we walked up to the ledge and then the ice golem showed up, like, that was a really cool moment. And so, yeah. I really do love Elder Scrolls Online so much. Like, it's a really fun game, and I'm, like, really kicking myself for not playing it sooner. Like, I tried it when it first came out, and I bought Somerset last year, and I just didn't play it too much. I was like, oh, I'll play this later. And I'm, like, I'm bummed with myself. I was like, I really should play this sooner. Like, what the hell is wrong with me? But I'm excited for the update in June. Can't wait to play a Necromancer.
Wait, is that the Elseworlds isn't until June?
Yes, June 4th is when console gets it.
Wow, they announced that real early.
Well, I mean, they have a update that's about to roll out in like a month to tide you over till then. So,
okay.
But I'm not paying for that right now. So yeah. Right. So yeah, Elder Scrolls Online, really good as always. But the Elder Scrolls Essential will take a back seat for a couple months.
Okay, let me just do.
Yeah, one more. Really good. Actually, I give you that. Like, bravo. Bravo. We're going the extra mile here.
Thank you. Yeah, it's this little Game of Thrones noise box that...
oh, shit. I thought you were like... I thought you had like a little... a xylophone, and you were just playing a xylophone. No, you had a little box. Oh, okay. All right.
No!
Oh, I was like, damn, Sam's killing it with the xylophone. I was so confused. Because your hands were moving, and I was like, oh, she's like playing a xylophone.
Oh, shit.
Right. That would have been a little cooler, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sorry, I don't have a xylophone.
That's the next thing we're investing in for the podcast. All right. So some cool stuff happened this week. So we got the Division 2 beta, and we got another game we're talking about in a little bit. So Division 2 beta, we got codes randomly because.
Well, we're signed up. When you sign up on the Ubisoft website, like the Uplay account, like I remember way back when you sign up and you're like, I want to be in these betas, and like you just check the box to sign up.
Yeah.
And so people who pre-ordered the game were supposed to get indefinitely to the private beta, but then they were giving out some extra codes to just random people who had tried to enter. So that's how we got them.
Okay.
So yeah.
I was under the impression it was only if you pre-ordered, but okay.
Did you?
I'm not complaining. No, not yet. I'm going to, but
no. Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
I didn't pre-order it, so.
So yeah, we got into that. I did the first mission, and I was kind of like, oh, this feels like this is how the intro of the game is going to be, and if this is all this demo is, or beta.
Definitely beta, yeah.
Definitely beta. We call a beta around here.
We do.
I was like, oh, if this is just what the beta is going to be, I don't want to keep playing because I don't want to have to replay this again later. And then I found out today that actually, like, they let you do an end-game mission and just, like, test out the end-game specializations. Because when you hit level 30 in the game, I think it's 30, or just max level.
I think so.
You get to pick from 3 specializations, which are kind of like classes almost. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to dive back in and play with that. But Sam, I feel like you played a little bit more than me, it seems.
Yeah, we did at least the first 2 missions because I got in with Alejandro because the fun thing about it, once you got into the beta, it was like, hey, if you can invite 3 friends to come play with you. Excuse me, I'm getting choked up because I'm so emotional about this game. So kind of bad luck for the Division 2 beta that it started when it did because I was like, yeah, I need to play this because I need to like check it out. But, like, I really wanted to be playing a different game that we'll talk about in a few minutes. So I was kind of in that mindset. But I was like, okay, Alejandro's playing. He had just started. So I was like, I'm going to get in here with him so we can do it together. Because, like, I didn't want to play by myself. And it plays very much like the first Division, in my opinion, from what I remember of it. Because I didn't play a ton of the first Division either. And it is a beta, and there were some issues. We had a couple times where it it would freeze up and we'd get kicked out and have to load back in. But most of the time, it would load you right back to where you were in the mission, as far as like the checkpoints in the mission and stuff, and so you didn't like have to repeat too much. The shooting feels pretty good. Like, I feel like they've got a pretty decent aim assist on there for me. So that was okay. I have a lot of trouble adjusting to this into out of cover and like going to the next cover, and like I kept like not doing what I meant to be doing and then like jumping over things too. So that's gonna take some getting used to like really get a good handle on that, as far as when you like just tap X to go into cover, but then you have to hold it down to move to the next cover. This is kind of like you'd say like a tactical shooter more, where you really have to utilize cover. And turns out that's not my favorite kind of shooter. And like I wasn't super into some of these gunfights, because like you just be like, you know, ducking behind your cover and then ducking back out to shoot. And it was just like, eh. And so we spent a good 5 or 6 minutes on this one fight trying to get through it. And then we died. I don't think we died. I think that was one of the crashes. Okay. No, we got past the fight. And I found a new gun. I was like, ooh, new gun. And then it crashed. And I was like, oh, man. So then we had to do that fight again. And I was kind of sick of it because we spent so long doing it. So I was like, screw this. And I was just like running up on people, shooting them, which you're not supposed to do in this game. But it went okay on this one. And we actually finished the fight really fast because we were so aggressive. But that type of gameplay is not going to cut it once you get further in and the enemies are tougher. So I'm just going to say this now. I don't think this game is for me. I don't think I'm going to get it. I don't think I want to pay $60 for it just to have like something to kind of play and be like, like when there's stuff that like I could really be having a lot of fun playing. So
yeah, that's reasonable.
You know, no games for everyone. So, and I'm glad that I got to try it out in the beta and make the decision before having to just buy it. So, what are you thinking, Cody?
I'm definitely getting it. For me, it's kind of like whenever I want a grounded tactical shooter, like I get to play this, because like there's also the idea that they're gonna have 8-player raids, which is like really cool. I don't know, like I'm just excited for it. Like once they start talking about like, oh, like at the end game, like all the like kind of spoilers for the game, I guess. So if you don't want to hear anything about the game, go in blind, tune away for 10 seconds. They said that after you beat the story, a new faction comes out, and that's what the end game is based around. And that's kind of cool because, like, oh yeah, you have a story, and then at the end, like, an entirely new faction of people come out. They're gonna fight different than other people. Like, they're designed to take out division agents. That's really cool to me. I was like, okay, So like I'm really interested in that aspect, and then like the introduction of the classes seems really cool, and how you can change them whenever you want. I want to like really compliment them on this. I don't know if you noticed it, but when you're going through the settings before you start the game, like how like large you want the font, like all this stuff, they actually have someone reading what's on the screen to you. And, like, that's really cool because people who are obviously having issues seeing can obviously hear what they're saying and they know what they want. And, like, that's something I've not really seen many games do. And so for Division 2 in a beta to have this, obviously this is probably, like, just a slice of the game they cut out. But, like, to have that in a beta and, like, show that, like, hey, we're going to do this for people who have issues seeing things is really cool. Like, I was like, oh my god, that's really awesome. Because I was like, who's talking to me? I was like, oh, like, maybe I loaded into the game already, and, like, there's just someone next to me who's on their mic, and then I, like, kind of turned it up, and I was like, oh, he's reading me, like, the options of, like, what font I want, all this stuff. And I was like, that's really awesome. Like, really cool of Ubisoft to do that.
Yeah.
But I will agree with you, I was more excited to talk about another game. But yeah, Division 2... coming out in March. I'm excited. As we say, not every game is for everybody, and fine. It's okay.
The good thing is there are so many different games that you're going to find one that you love. Spoiler alert, I fell in love this week, Cody. It was
did you? Oh, that's good. Valentine's Day is next week.
Just around the corner. Who knew?
Yeah.
It was so unexpected. I wasn't looking for love, and I stumbled upon it, and I was like, oh, my heart is calling out. It has found something.
What's their name?
Their name is Apex Legends, and they are fabulous. Let me tell you.
Is that Danish?
It's kind of futuristic. It's from another timeline, so it's fine. They've got much better technology than we have. Yeah. So last week we had breaking news that Cody didn't even think was real. He thought I was making it up.
For the record, when she stopped us before talking about Anthem, was like, Titanfall's got a Battle Royale coming out. I was like, what's happening? You're messing with me, okay?
No, I was not messing with you.
You were not, apparently, because it's here.
No. Yeah, and we weren't sure. We thought maybe we were all being messed with, but no. It was true. They did a stealth launch. I mean, they had their leaks over the weekend, but on Monday, they launched a stream, and they showed the trailer, and they said, hey, it's available now. Go get it. And so I immediately started downloading it. Basically, it's in the Titanfall universe. There are no Titans. And Cody gave a thumbs down, but I'm A-okay with it. Who needs Titans, okay?
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Okay, we'll talk about it. Different opinions. It's fine. So the characters that you can play as are known as legends because this Battle Royale game is actually like a reality show, Hunger Games type of situation where people go into it and fight each other to the death, and like the winners are whoever wins is the Apex Legend. Actually, Apex was one of the factions in Titanfall 2 that you could play for. So I guess they're like probably the sponsor for it, but it doesn't matter. But these legend characters are like Overwatch characters in that each one has their own personality and their own special abilities that they bring to the table. And so you have different classes like a support class, like a defense class, more of your tank attack class. And so you can try out different characters and find a role that you like. And the shooting feels like Titanfall 2, which means the shooting feels fantastic. Pretty much all of the characters are great. There were 6 characters unlocked to start with, and then there were 2 that you can buy either with the currency that you build up just from playing the game or with real world currency. And I went ahead and spent the money and bought the 2 other characters with real world money just because I want to support the game. And both of those characters are really fun. Mirage is one of my favorites to play as right now. We can get into them in more detail later, but Cody, what are your first impressions of Apex Legends?
So at first I was like, okay, cool, another Battle Royale game. I'm not sure I'm gonna really like it. I'm kind of like, I'm a little bit dumb with Battle Royale
Nobody
games,
wanted another Battle Royale game, to be honest. Yeah. Nobody did.
And when I first started playing, I was even just like, okay, this is all right. Like the shooting feels good because Titanfall 2 had great shooting. I'll give it that. And then like after a few games, I was like, I'm really liking this. Like this is a lot of fucking fun. Like
so okay,
fun. So it feels really good. The abilities, like I don't feel like there's any character who's like broken or overpowered. Like everything has their usefulness, and like that's good because like it's a class-based battle royale, and so like, and then they keep the teams to 3, and so like I feel like that's a nice kind of mix. I feel like 4 would just be even more hectic.
Yeah.
Than like a battle royale for like this type would be. Because like, well, I guess not, because like Realm Royale is 4 people, but I guess like the abilities in that game aren't as impactful as the abilities in Apex Legends. So yeah, shooting feels good. My kind of go-to legend, as they're called, is Bloodhound, because he can release
Excuse let me I'm sorry. Let me just correct you there. Bloodhound canonically is non-binary and goes by they. So,
okay, so
yeah.
Bloodhound, they have a sonar pulse, and so you can pop it and like shoots out a sonar, and if people are around, it'll mark them. That's really cool. And then its ultimate, their ultimate is Mark of the Beast, but no.
I don't know what it is. I don't understand what this freaking ultimate is.
So I figured the ultimate out last night because it was very confusing. The ultimates are a little confusing sometimes.
Just that one, I think.
Well, the Wraiths was confusing at first until you figure out how to place the portal. So it makes everything black and white, and you move a little faster. But the big like tactical thing is, it shows everyone outlined in red, like they are bright red, and then it shows their footsteps, like very detailed, like where they're going, like if they're injured and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And like the Bloodhound's passive is that they can see clues around the map, and like you can follow the clues, and if you eventually like get a percentage of the clues found, it'll say like, oh, like they were here and they busted through this door. Kind of cool. Like it's a cool little thing. Yeah, they're my kind of go-to because I don't know. I like being able to find people really quickly.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of there's a lot of cool characters in the game, and they definitely have a lot of like character and spunk. Who's your kind of go-to legend?
So, well, my number one is Lifeline. She is the official medic of the team. So her special ability is she can throw out a little healing drone, and you have to stand by it, and it'll heal you. So scary thing. Like I played as Lifeline as a lot, and then like I guess I wasn't paying attention to what the drones look like, because then I walked up to somebody else's drone, and a hose comes out to attach to you to do the healing. Scared the crap out of me. I was like, what is this thing coming at me? Also, fun fact, enemies can use your healing drone too. So if it's out there, anyone can use it. Yeah. And then her ultimate is she can call in a support pod, and it'll have 3 items on it that are epic or legendary class and are just better gear for you. And then her passive is she can revive teammates faster, and I think she gets a little shield up around her while she's doing revive, so that's super handy. So I like her a lot. I also really like Mirage. He has a fun personality, and so what he does, his ability is just to send out a decoy of himself, like a holographic decoy. So you can send that out whenever. His ultimate is it sends a bunch of decoys out. So if you're like really under attack, you just send that out. Stuff's going everywhere, and the enemy doesn't know where you are. I forget what his passive ability is, but that's fine. But he's fun. And then I also like Gibraltar. He's more of the tank guy. And his ability, he can put a dome down, and then he can also call like a mortar strike on enemies. So, and like there's a post that was said that like all the characters move at the same speed, and if it appears that they don't, it's because of like animation or something. But it feels like Gibraltar moves a lot slower than some of the other characters. So I don't know about that. But like all of them are great. All of them have definite benefits to play, and they're fun to play. So, and just real quick, so like I said, Bloodhound is non-binary. It has 2 black women as characters just from the launch, which a lot of people have been bitching for a very long time about games like Overwatch, who still doesn't have a truly black female. And then also Gibraltar, in his little backstory, it just casually mentions that he had a boyfriend. So just like right off the bat, they're just going through and like kind of giving all the stuff that people have been asking for all this time. And I feel like Respawn has just been sitting in the background, listening to stuff, sipping their tea, being like, all right, we can do that. We can give you exactly what you want. This is going to be great. And this game is great. So like one of the other things that I really like about this one is you've got your 3 players, and it just randomly assigns you 1, 2, 3, and you get to pick which character you want to be. So it's not like an Overwatch situation where you have to rush and just try to lock in your character as fast as possible before someone else, because you can only have 1 character per game. And so if you're the third person to pick, obviously you're at a disadvantage because like 2 people picked before you. So to even that out, you get to be what's called the jump master. And so when you're on the plane about to jump down to the island, the jump master is in control of when your team jumps and your team sticks together and you fly down together, which this has been like a big problem in pretty much all Battle Royale so far. Is like, oh, you're jumping. Oh, wait, I already jumped. Oh, no, I'm sorry. And like, so people jump out at different times. You're trying to go to the same spot. You mess it up. You end up who knows where. So this keeps you all together because it really is like a squad-based game. Like you're doing your best if you're all working together. So that's fantastic. You can break away from the squad if you want to as you're flying down, but otherwise you're just going to land together. And then the game has a really good ping system. And so like if you open a chest and there's like a weapon you don't want, you ping it and your character will be like, hey, we've got the whatever gun over here if you want to get at the Peacemaker, or here's some body armor level 2 you can pick up. And so you can tell where stuff is. You can ping a spot in the distance and be like, hey, let's go explore over here. When you see enemies, you do like a double tap and it pings to say, oh, there's enemies right here. So you can do a pretty deep level of communication without actually having to be on mics with people, which is really cool. Oh yeah, so you get hit, you get knocked down, and you've got your bleeding out period where you can be revived within that time frame. But let's say your buddies can't save you before you completely bleed out, so then you're like dead. They can go and pick up your beacon and take you to a respawn station, and you will get respawned, which is pretty amazing. I mean, Realm Royale had something like this as well.
Yeah.
But you can do that and you'll come back in on the airship. You won't have any of your supplies, but you can come back. And apparently you can do it multiple times.
And it seems like the respawn beacons, they usually have chests around them. So if you find one that's been unlooted, there's going to be a loot there for the person who gets respawned.
As long as your teammates are nice and don't take it. So
yes.
Sometimes you don't have the best teammates.
Yeah. So this is set in the Titanfall universe. There's no Titans and there's no wall running. But there is still some pretty decent movement. Like, you get to slide, and you get a lot of momentum from sliding. And, like, I've even found, like, in Titanfall 2, there was slide hopping, where you would slide and jump at the end, and it kind of propelled you. That's really good. There's zip lines, like, everywhere. Yeah. There are these balloons that you can ride the zip line up, and when you hit the balloon, it shoots you up, and you can almost do, like, a free dive. And, yeah. I mean, and the guns feel really good. It's all the guns from Titanfall, and they kind of have balanced it to where, like, the super strong guns are, like, only going to come from these drop pods that, like, not the Lifeline character drops. We kind of noticed. I haven't found
Yeah, so she drops them, but then sometimes just randomly they'll drop.
Yeah.
Too, and that's where you get the really good stuff.
And like, I feel like the only time I've been hit by they call it the ring, it's the storm, the circle that always is in every Battle Royale game. The only time I've ever been actually hit by the ring is if I wasn't paying attention, or like we stayed a little too long in an area we shouldn't have been staying in. But I think, like, I love everything about the game, like the design of it, the characters, how the guns feel, all that. The only, like, complaint I have a little bit is, like, sometimes it just feels like ammo is too scarce. Like, there are times where I'm like, I can't find any ammo. Like, what's happening?
I'd say the majority of the time I'm fine with the ammo situation. Like, I usually have enough, but just tonight I was playing and, like, I died and respawned, and, like, I'd go and pick up a gun and it would have 1 bullet in it and there would be no bullets anywhere because there'd been a lot of fighting going on in the area that we were at. But otherwise it's,
Yeah, and so,
I'm
it's
sorry.
not 100. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say also, so there's 4 different types of guns, and they're color-coded, and the ammo is color-coded as well, so that it's very easy to see which kind of ammo you need to pick up. Also very cool, if there are attachments like scopes, or the stock, or a barrel for your gun, if it's compatible with your gun, as soon as you pick it up, it auto-attaches. You don't have to go into your inventory and attach anything, it just auto-does it. If you're looking at a piece of equipment on the ground, it'll tell you if you have something better equipped, so it won't let you pick up something that's worse. So it's super easy and fast to deal with picking stuff up, and it's much better than any of the other battle royales I've tried.
Yeah, it definitely has taken a lot of notes from other battle royales. Like, so also talking about what you said, also when you swap a gun, if you have any attachments on a gun you have that can go onto the gun you're picking up, it'll automatically put those on. Yeah. And that's something in like Blackout that I hated, because you had to remove everything from a gun, drop it, then pick up a new gun and reattach everything. And it was just a long, difficult process that like you would usually just end up wasting too much time. But yeah, it definitely feels like Respawn like kind of sat back and was like, what's everything that people are kind of having issues with, and let's make it really good.
Yeah. And also in this one, so you only can have 2 guns at a time. You know, a lot of stuff you can pick up as many guns as your inventory can hold, but like this time you can only get 2. You can pick up different types of grenades and stuff, but you would have to like kind of switch between them to equip which one you want. So it's not like you have like a huge arsenal that you can develop. You're kind of limited by that. And I think it's a good thing. You know, it keeps it more balanced. So
yeah, and they've kind of talked about like what they'll be adding to the game, and like I feel like in the Titanfall universe, like they're not gonna get as like wacky as like the Fortnite thing. Like they're not gonna be balloons that you like pop in to go faster. So like it seems like they're just kind of saving guns to add for later, maybe a new grenade or something like that. I feel like healing supplies, like they've got most of it covered. Like there's syringes, which are kind of like your normal bandages, a med kit, which is like a med kit where it kind of heals you for full. They have like mini shields restoring thing. They have like a full shield restoring thing, and then they have a Phoenix kit, which will restore both health and shields completely, and like it's really useful. That's another cool thing, is like you pick up armor throughout the game, but it doesn't break like how in Blackout, how armor breaks, and they just now recently added like a repairing armor thing. Whereas once you have the armor, it's on you. It's just you lose shield from it. Armor is just how you get shield, which is cool.
Well, so like, so if I was shooting someone and I destroyed their shields and like they die and I go and pick up their armor, it is at full power when I pick it up again, which is really that's cool.
Really good, really handy. Yeah, like Respawn, they did a great job with this, and like
they did such a good job.
Yeah, but now we need to step over a little bit and go into Cody's corner of confusion. Because there's been a lot of confusion going on about how this is the Titanfall game that they said they were making. And then some other guy came out and was like, no, we're still working on a Titanfall game to come out at the end of 2019. And
here's the sequence of events, right? So earlier this year, we're told they're working on a new Titanfall game. We're all like, oh, it's Titanfall 3. And then this comes out and they're like, no, Titanfall 3 is not in development. This is what we've been working on. Jason Schreier does a tweet that's like, I have confirmation that they were working on a Titanfall 3. So it's become this, or they just canceled it and moved on to this. And then like a day after they said Titanfall 3 is not in development, that's when they said, later this year, there's going to be a premium Titanfall game coming out. And this is the point where I said, I'm not getting my hopes up anymore. It's going to be a mobile game. So I won't be disappointed.
So I've been saving this all week.
Do you have details?
I don't have detail. I'm not an insider or anything.
Okay.
But my thought process is that every now and again, a game will release kind of like the game comes as a 1.0. And sometimes games release like a 1.5, which is like just a small update. Yeah. Kind of like how Destiny 2 was like 1.0, and then you would say Destiny 2 Forsaken was like a 1.5, you know?
Yeah.
I think Titanfall 2 is going to drop like a major story DLC that's gonna like they're gonna like release it as almost like a new game where like you buy the thing, or if you have Titanfall 2, you can buy the DLC.
Okay.
It'll come with a story that they've worked on.
Okay.
It's gonna add new guns, new modes to Titanfall 2, and it's gonna revamp Titanfall 2 for this year. That's my pitch. That's what I'm thinking it's gonna be, Sam.
Damn it, Cody, you've got my hopes up after I said I wasn't gonna get my hopes up. So now I'm very excited about this.
With them dropping this, and them being like, yes, this is the Titanfall game that we've been talking about, I do feel like I don't feel like they would just scrap all the work they did. I'm sure
Yeah.
they just kind of like consolidated and was like, all right, we have enough here for a good sized DLC package. Let's do it.
I like it.
And so, yeah. And I was like, okay, that would be cool. But dear God, what was the marketing behind this? Like, I'm so confused. I will compliment the stealth drop thing. Really cool for Apex Legends. Like how it was kind of like it was, and then like I even think like the kind of leaks.
Yeah,
I think those were planned.
Yeah.
I think those were planned because the subreddit Apex Legends has been like taken for like 4 months now. So like I think they've been slowly planning things.
Also, I just want to say, Respawn knows how to make multiplayer games. They know how to do their job well. They do a fantastic job. Just major props to them for stealth releasing a game that never had any type of public beta testing or anything. And it's been such a smooth launch. Like, we went in to play it the first night and just got in, no problem. Sometimes we have had some like longer load times or weird things happen, but it's minor, and it has been such a great experience to play this game. And I'm like, man, that's just they know what they're doing, and they've done a good job. So bravo, Respawn.
Bravo to Respawn. Yeah, they did a great job with this. It's a really fun game, and like it's, dare I say, I'm gonna make a bold claim here.
Mm-hmm.
I think the king is dead. I think Fortnite has been dethroned. Nay, Fortnite has been decapitated. Yes. Yeah, I think like people really are loving Apex Legends. I think this is the new hotness.
It's so exciting to log on and look at your friends list, and there's like 15 people playing Apex Legends, and like you want to play with people, but it's only 3, and like you can't get enough people in, so you're like switching and playing with other people, and then you go play with some other people, and it's so much fun. It's everybody is saying good things about this game. Like I haven't really heard anything bad about it. Like nobody was like, So it's well done. Alright, I need to talk about this, okay? I am shit at Battle Royale games, like, universally, pretty much, right? I go in and, I'm just lucky to stay alive for a while. It's very rare that I get a kill. Like, it's something that's like, whoa, monumental, right? Apex Legends, because it plays like Titanfall, also, we should say it has a longer time to kill, like a significantly longer time to kill. You gotta shoot people for a while to get past their shields and then to do enough damage to get them killed. And that's like exactly what I need in a game, apparently, because like I'm doing good work in Apex Legends. Like it blows me away, like how good I do. So it's not unusual now for me to get a kill in a game. I'm just like, it happens. It's like, I got him. The fun thing is when you pick your legend to play with, they've got a little banner showing them. It shows your character level, and it shows your like total number of kills with that character. So like, I'm getting up there. Pretty soon I'm going to be in the double digits. I think I might be in the double digits on some of them. Lifeline and Mirage are my main guys. I think one of them I have at least 7. I don't know. But yeah, so surprisingly, Cody, I was playing the other night with Paul from the Optional Podcast and Byron. I think that's who we were with. And there'd just been some stuff going on. Like, I don't even know what happened. It was happening so fast. And we got out of this situation. And then Byron's like, how many kills do you have? And I looked up at the screen and it said I had 4 kills, Cody. That's more kills than I've like ever had in that's more than I've ever dreamed of having in a game of Battle Royale. So that's exciting. Like sometimes I'll get 2 kills in a game, and I'm just like, this is great. And even if I don't get the kill, like even if I just do an assist and help people, it just feels so good to like be able to contribute to that. And like the other night I was playing with strangers, and I got into a situation. The worst situation to be in is when Sam is the last squad member standing. That's never a good sign. But we got into that situation, and I took down 2 enemies, Cody, and I saved my teammates. Well, one of them was just knocked, and I revived him. The other one had bled out, and we had to recover the beacon and go get it. But I was so excited from killing those 2 people that I completely forgot to do that. I was the asshole teammate. I felt so bad about it. But the other guy took him to the respawn place. And so I went to see him, and I think I gave him a gun to make up for it. But yeah, it's so much fun. Sometimes it's rough playing with the strangers because they don't always come get your respawn beacon. You're just like,
I feel like that should be a tooltip at the bottom. Like, hey, don't forget those respawn beacons.
Well, and you can, while you're waiting to respawn, you can push X to ping your location, and it'll make a little noise and like highlight on the map. So they'll be like, hey, your buddy's over here, go get him. But some people still don't do it. So, but... It's just addictive. There's something about this game. Like, I've been at work all week, and I'm like, I cannot wait to get home and play this game. And then every night this week, I have stayed up past my bedtime playing this game just because, like, I can't stop. I was like, Cody, this is my last game. He's like, okay. And then we finish it. And he's like, okay, but do you want to do one more game? I was like, yes, I do. And then we did one more game. Because it's just like, I can't stop. It's so much fun.
Yeah. I want to say the pinging system is really like handy. Like it's one of my favorite things. Like because I just find myself doing it. Like, oh hey, here's some level 2 armor guys, and like being able to spot enemies. Because sometimes you're like, oh, enemies at like west 285, and people are like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then now you ping them, and they're like, oh, I see them. Okay, cool, thanks.
Yep.
So some cool stuff. They released a roadmap, and like they've kind of confirmed that like, hey, there's gonna be new guns. Hey, there's gonna be new legends. So that's really cool. I am curious, like how, and then there's a premium battle pass, is what they called it.
There's a battle pass coming out in March. I don't know the full details of it, but I'm sorry. We should mention that this is kind of like Overwatch, and then there are loot boxes where you get different skins for your characters. You get skins for your guns. You get different quips, they call them, which are like voice lines for different occasions. You get like different banners that can go behind your character in different poses. So there's a lot of fun stuff like that that's customizable. Yes, Cody?
There's also... So I haven't done a kill finisher, but when you knock somebody, you can walk up to them and do a finisher. And I forget the one I got. I got one for... Who is the assault? Not Wraith, but the other one. I'm blanking on the name. Bangalore, I think.
Bangalore.
Yeah, Bangalore. I got one for her where I walk up to the person and like pull out a gun, and I think I just shoot him in the head, and like kind of cool. And it's legendary.
Fun fact, I got killed earlier tonight by a Lifeline, the medic, which she has a pose on one of her intros where she's playing the drums on her drone. Yeah. And so in this execution that she did to me, she like got out her drumstick and like stabbed me with the drumstick, I think. It was really cool.
I saw one for Gibraltar where he turns around and just jumps backwards and like falls on top and crushes the person. And there was a clip of the Gibraltar was in midair, like falling, and someone sniped him out of the air and saved their teammate. And I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah, because that's something that can happen. Once you start the animation for this execution, you can't get out of it. So somebody can still take you out while you're doing it. So while they're fun to look at, I mean, only do it if you feel really safe.
And kind of like they've been very upfront and honest about the loot boxes, where it is there is duplicate protection. You will never get a duplicate. And there's a guaranteed bad luck negation thing where within 30 loot boxes you will at least get one legendary. So that's really good. And I feel like the kind of currencies they have is really cool. So like you can get crafting medals from the loot boxes. And you can use those to buy skins. Then you get the kind of coins from leveling up. And then there's the premium currency where you pay with real money.
Yeah.
And so like there are 3 different methods to obtain whatever you want. And like you get 2 of them just from playing the game. So that's really good.
Yeah.
So yeah. The other kind of big thing that came out is someone went into the game codes and found out that there's going to be a ranked mode in this game eventually, which makes sense because like it's like an Overwatch, and like ranked mode is another thing that people have been wanting from Fortnite forever. Like, so Respawn really has been sitting back like, oh, what's that? You want that?
Yeah, we got it. We'll do it. Yeah,
they've been visiting the websites. They're like, all right, subreddits are amazing. So that's really good on them. I'm proud of Respawn. They know what they're doing. And, like, after this game release, they kind of came out and they're like, oh, hey, Jedi The Fallen Order is going to be a single-player game, and there's going to be no multiplayer, and, like, we're focusing all our single-player stuff on that. And it's like, cool, so you have your multiplayer game, and you have your single-player game. Like, you guys have got this down. Like, good job.
Yeah. They've done a great job.
And they kind of cleared up the... Because when it first came out, I was like, I'm fucking pissed off because...
I know, you texted me like a pre-apology for the podcast because you were going to go off about
Because I felt so bad for the Titan, because like on the Titanfall subreddit, people were like, this sucks. Like, we were expecting a new Titanfall game.
Yeah.
And this is what we got instead.
I was sad. I was like, I didn't want a Battle Royale. I wanted Titanfall 3, and now I'm not going to get it. And I'm sad. You know, it's great that I have this game, but it's not what I wanted. But then I played it, and I was like, okay, I'm happy. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I mean, Cody, I gotta tell you, Anthem's coming in a couple weeks, but I'm like, I'm real happy
Anthem
with Apex Legends.
is your single-player game. Or not single-player, but like non-PvP game. It's your PvE game.
It's my PvE game.
In this game, it's your PvP game.
I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if Apex Legends is my game of the year. Like, I could see that happening. So,
and that's the thing. It's like it's not a beta or anything. Like, Fortnite's still technically beta. So this game, can be up for Game of the Year for a lot of like major websites. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and it's free to play, so everybody can play it, which is probably why so many people are playing it. But I mean, it's having a good run right now.
Yeah, I will say, when you told me Titanfall Battle Royale, I did kind of hope I'd be able to run around the Titan.
Yeah.
But I know logistically, the map would have to be gigantic.
Yeah.
Like, the map would have to be huge.
Titans don't move that fast, so you couldn't get around as fast.
Yeah, but I guess because they're so large, that's how I'm thinking of, is how, like, huge a Titan is. But yeah, Apex Legends, having fun with it, really cool.
Let's just state for the record, we were playing, and we got a win. Hey. Pretty much, okay, let me clarify. Cody got the win.
Okay, you guys were there.
Here's the thing.
You helped.
I get, like, I don't feel it in my heart as much. Like, I want to win where I am not dead at the time that it happens. Like,
you were still alive up until the end.
I want where I'm standing up and shooting at the end. Like, I was knocked, and I'm like, I'm not helping when I'm knocked. Like, I want to be part of the final win. Like, that's when it's gonna feel really special for me. So, and I haven't got that yet, but we have gotten number 2 multiple times, and I've gotten it with strangers too. So I'm continuing my streak where I can get number 2 all the time. But I feel like in this game, like, it's entirely possible that I can get a win and be alive at the end. So that's my goal. I'm working on it. So
last night I was playing with Byron and Alejandro. You were in the party, but you had left. Yeah. And we had a really intense, like, final, like, one team versus another showdown. Like, came in second, but, like, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Because it ended at the airbase on the map, and the circle was on the, like, kind of thing that hangs over the water. And so, like, people were there, we were coming at them, and, like, it was just so cool. Like, a really fun game. Like, I'm really shocked at how much I love it, because I was really just like, another Battle Royale, whatever, but it's a lot of fun.
So this game, it has hot zones, like, so there'll be a certain area marked on the map for this round, where the best loot is, and then there are also these supply ships that are just flying across the map when you're coming out of the ship, and so if people go land on the supply ship, there's going to be good loot there, but also it's real dangerous because people are there. And, like, Cody was like, no, let's stay away from that ship. And I'm like, we have to experience the ship at least once. And so I was jump master. And so I took us there. I was like, it's going to be fine. And so we land, and I immediately start looting, and immediately accidentally back off the edge of the ship and fall down. I'm like, oh my god, in true Sam fashion, of course I'm going to fall off the ship. So I don't know. And I think you guys had some trouble up there, and you can blame it on me because it was all my fault. But
so a kind of funny glitch I saw was that sometimes if you go for a revive on top of the ship, like on the kind of like deck, the plane will keep going. You and your buddy will not, but you will get the revive off and then fall straight down.
That's awesome.
It happened like 3 times the other day on a Twitch stream I was watching. I was like, stop going for the revive then. Wait for it to stop.
Well, that's fine. I have noticed also, if you're running and you open your inventory, like to drop something, like you keep running while your inventory is up. Like, that's kind of disconcerting, but, you know, I guess it's fine. But also, your inventory does a really good thing where if you've picked up something that, like, ammo for a gun you can't use, it has, like, a red cross line over it to show you can't use this right now. You might as well get rid of it. So it's nice and easy to know how you can clear stuff out. Also, I was just going to say, so Legendary is the highest tier of equipment that you can pick up. And there's something called a knockdown shield where you have this, so when you get knocked down and you're bleeding out, you can put up a shield to kind of protect yourself from people finishing you off while you're down. So if you get the legendary version of the knockdown shield, it comes with a self-revive ability, which I was super surprised when I found that out because I had it equipped and I was like, oh my god, I can revive myself! And like I was like a millimeter away from completing my self-revive bar and someone killed me. I was like, oh, I was just about to come back. But I feel like all the legendary stuff, they said it's the same kind of power level as the epic gear below it, but it has some type of special ability. So I think I've only gotten like one legendary item so far, but they should have neat stuff with them.
The shotgun, because I got the shotgun in like one of the first games we played, and that was a very good gun. Like, and then we've gotten like, there are also legendary attachments. Like I got the legendary sniper scope, and so when you aim down sights, it like outlines everybody in red.
Oh and, like, yeah, really that's the good one. Oh man, I love it.
And then there's one for like. So like almost everything on it is digital, and it also does a red outline, but not like as detailed. And yeah, but I've seen someone use the sniper, and the sniper looks really good, so I'm excited to try that out. But yeah, man, Apex Legends, it's a fucking good game.
Go try it, you guys. It's free. What have you got to lose? You're gonna have a good time, I bet.
All right, well, yeah, that was Apex Legends. A lot of fun. Go try it. It's free to play. So we're going to do one quick news story, and then we're going to wrap it up. Sam, you have some news about Axiom Verge on the Epic Game Store. What happened?
Yes. So, okay. As you all know, Epic Game Store has a free game that they give away for a certain period of time, and then, like, once it's done, then they pick a new game and move on. So, the current game is Axiom Verge, and, okay, this is... really, I find this very amusing. I'm riveted by these Epic Game stories. I feel like it's like my version of a reality TV show, and I'm just like watching it being like, what's gonna happen next? Okay, so Axiom Verge is free. People download it, they start playing it, they get to this certain point, and the game crashes 100% of the time. Okay, so this, I don't know, some guy who knows computers like went into the code and was looking around to try to figure out what was happening, and he found that there was a file missing that was called Steam, and it was some type of audio file. So the Steam audio file was missing, which obviously Epic Games is competing against the Steam game store. So it's just kind of like funny on its own that something about Steam is making the game crash on the Epic Game Store. And so it turns out one of the developers of Axiom Verge came clean and was like, oh, so, I had to go through and remove all the stuff associated with the Steam game store from the game before we put it on Epic. And obviously he was just doing like Control F, find things with Steam, and then deleting them. And so there was this sound effect for the Steam that accidentally got deleted because it was called Steam, and so it was making the whole game crash. And I'm just like, that's so hilarious. I don't know, it cracked me up, and it's just like, what's gonna happen next in this story of Epic Games and Steam? I can't wait to see it. But yeah, so that's what happened.
That's I can't believe that would happen. Like, because at first I was like, oh, like there must be like some kind of audio that plays when Steam starts up. But then I was like, no, there's actually like probably like sounds for Steam in the game, and that's what he deleted. Oh wow, that is quite a blunder. Oh gosh.
But I mean, it's a funny blunder of all the mistakes to make. We can all laugh about it, so it's like,
So I think that's going to wrap up this show tonight, guys. We had a really nice talk about Apex Legends, Division Beta, all that. So just a reminder, for episode 50, we are doing an AUA, and Ask Us Anything. Probably go see a doctor about it later. And the cutoff date for questions on Twitter, our Discord, and our email at contact@geekcardgames.com is Valentine's Day. So get on that. Send us all your questions. Maybe we'll do some love advice. We're not going to do love advice. We're both not very equipped for that right now.
Hey! I say we could give great advice. We don't have to,
We're experienced, Yeah, send us your love questions,
Send us any advice questions. We can give you advice.
We got you.
We have opinions. We know some things.
I took 2 psychology classes in college, okay? Like, I was going to be a therapist, okay? I got you guys.
Yeah. Do it.
So yeah, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook at geekcardgames.com. You can reach out to us over email at contact@geekcardgames.com. Did I say Twitter and Facebook at geekcardgames.com?
So, I'm so sorry. I'm going to admit freely that I wasn't actually listening to you because this is the point of the show where I have to start thinking about what I'm going to do for the song. I'm sorry, I was in my head.
I feel like I messed up, so I'm gonna do it again.
Do it again.
Twitter and Facebook at Geek Card Games. Our contact is at contact@geekcardgames.com. You can join our Discord server at geekcardgames.com/Discord, where we are finding out that certain people don't like horror, and we're calling you out on it. Just kidding. We still love you.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. We still love Starry. She's great.
Yeah, we still love her. She's great.
Just the way she is. We love all our children. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, can we agree? We're
mom and dad.
We're mom and dad, and they're our children. Okay, great.
Yeah.
You can find our Twitch streams, which we just streamed Apex Legends, and we'll be having a lot more of those, I assume.
Yeah.
And we're doing a community night next Saturday.
Right.
I completely forgot about that.
Right. So, Saturday, February 16th. Playing some Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
On a Saturday, because that's how we roll.
That's how we roll.
That's what we roll.
We'll be announcing a time for that on the Twitter, so yeah, definitely find us there. So you can watch Twitch streams of everything at twitch.tv/geekcardgames. You can find our YouTube channel, where we'll be having the archives of those streams go up at geekcardgames.com/YouTube. You can buy our merch at geekcardgames.com/shirts. Forgot for a minute. I was like, what is that? As always, if you can leave us a review on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, anything you're using to listen or watch on, we appreciate it. Yeah. Let me know how my beautiful face looks. I think that about does it, Sam.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at Con with Cody.
I'm at SKSUVAK.
And once again, thank you guys so much for listening. And we can't wait to see you for our 50th episode next week. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Sam, real quick, before we do the outro.
Okay.
So, I had another intro planned for the podcast. I want to run it by you before we end the show.
Okay.
So, I said the only podcast with people who look as good as they sound. My other intro is going to be the only podcast that is 20 episodes away from 69. But then I was like, no, there's definitely some other podcasts out there who are on episode 40 as well, or 49 as well. So, never mind.
Fine.
As always, Sam, take it away.
We're just two geeks who heart Apex Legends. Do. We are legend!
I kind of was hoping you would bust out the Game of Thrones box one more time as a send-off, but it's okay. No, it's good. No, it's good. It's good.
But the video quality still looks a lot better than it used to. So it's a lovely picture when it freezes. Look at that quality. Well, that light got in the way for that. Okay. It's such good quality, man. There we go. I can see each individual follicle of your beard. And
like that.
Cody, I was reading online, just it was 100 fun facts, just trivia. One of them was way back in the day, probably 100 years ago or more. There was a ruler in Russia named Peter the Great, okay? and he implemented a beard tax. And so if men wanted to have a beard, they had to pay a tax for it. And then once you went and paid your tax, you had a little coin that showed you'd paid your beard tax.
I bet
Thoughts?
that guy got beat up. That guy got beat up, probably.
I mean, he was the ruler. He's not going to get beat up. He can do what he wants.
I guess so.
Yeah. So I guess you should be lucky that we don't have such things now, because you'd have to pay an extra tax on that beard.
All right. That's... I couldn't imagine. Because, like, back in the day, like, people had those, like, long, like, luscious beards, right?
Well, and
like,
it's Russia, so it's probably cold, and you would want something to keep your face warm, right?
What an asshole if you think about it.
He
now.
probably was an asshole.
Man, that sucks.
Peter the Asshole is what they should have called him.
I should have called him that.
We apologize to any Russian history fans that we've just pissed off.
Or any fans named Peter.
Or anyone's named Peter. It's not all Peters that are jerks, just ones that implement a beard tax. So
yeah,
it's fine.
There's probably some Peter out there who implemented a beard tax in his hometown and like, fuck you.
He probably knew about the Russian guy and was like, this sounds like something that we should continue.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.